Pamela.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Ebong.
And today we're dishing with you from Founding Farmers, which is located at 1924 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest.
And today we have a very philanthropic gentleman with us, also a great friend of ours, co-founder of Luke's Wings, Fletcher Gill. Fletcher, what is Luke's Wings?
Well, Kate, Luke's Wings is a 501c3 nonprofit that raises money to fly the families of wounded soldiers to military hospitals all over the country. And in 2008, we just got started, and we flew 19 family members for a total of 7 wounded warriors, which was pretty good, we think. Raised about $36,000. And in 2009, we've already flown 26 family members for 14 soldiers. And we're hoping to actually do 100 cases this year, meaning 100 flights, and triple our numbers entirely. So we're looking to raise over $100,000 in 2009. So we're pretty excited.
So you're flying the families to Walter Reed?
Yes. Well, we've developed relationships with Walter Reed, with Bethesda Naval, with the VA Hospital in Tampa, Fort Drum up in Syracuse. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, you know, the longer we are in business, hopefully, the more connections we make, and the more people can start to pull from us as well. It's all about awareness, really.
So what is the difference between what you do and what the federal government does for soldiers?
Sure. Well, everybody tries. You know, everyone does what they can. So that's the first positive idea I have. What we do is we pick up the extended family, we pick up the brothers, the sisters, we pick up the moms and dads the second, third, fourth time they want to come out. We'll pick up, you know, a boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, or out of country, which is something that most folks won't do. And you have to remember that when you pull a family member out here for the first time, it creates an economic disruption to the family unit. And to have that same breadwinner out here full-time can be really harmful. And for the wounded warrior, it can be actually kind of a guilt trip. So we want to be able to cycle them back and forth and bring out, you know, switch them up, the moms and the dads. And we can help to facilitate that with that extra funding that we have.
Why might it be important for someone to have, you know, not just an immediate family member, but you said you sometimes bring girlfriends.
Sure.
Why might it be important for them to have someone like that come?
Well, let's say that you know, you're a 19-year-old private in Iraq, and you just lost both legs and the fingers on your left hand and your eyesight, and you have a fiance back home. You know, that's the relationship that might be the most fragile. And that's the one that you really need to see. You know, you might come back and know that your parents are always going to be there for you. No matter what, they're going to love you. But the fiance, that's something that you need to deal with. You know, that's something that you want to spend some quality time with that person. And, so we'll fly them out. You know, the last thing we want is our wounded warriors to be worrying about anything. And we do believe that if we can bring the family and loved ones at that critical moment when they're deciding to recover, then hopefully we can, you know, not to be corny, but help save their lives. You know, the suicide rates are extremely high today. In fact, we lose more of our active combat soldiers to suicide today than we do to the enemy, which is a pretty staggering statistic. You can't really win any wars with that. So, you know, we want to make sure that they feel loved and they're around their loved ones, and, you know, to a lesser extent, if we can, you know, make sure they know that there's hundreds of people here in DC that come together and, you know, throw events and raise money and make those things happen for them.
So how, what is the exact process then? Do you actually go to the Navy Medical Center or Bethesda Medical Center or Walter Reed and you find the families or the soldiers, or do they come to you?
Well, we try to open up every avenue possible. We have relationships, again, with a lot of these wounded warrior programs, and also with the family assistance centers, so they can pull from us. They can call us and say, hey, we have a family that wants to fly in, and we don't have funding elsewhere. But we also push market a lot. So we'll send a flyer, for example, out to Walter Reed and have them put it on the board, and it'll say, you know, no soldier spends Christmas alone, and call us if you need tickets. So it goes both ways.
So I remember sitting across from you before you even started this, and you said, Kate, I think I want to start a foundation. And I was like, well, I think that's a good idea. How did you come up with the idea, and who is Luke?
Right, great question. Well, to give credit where credit's due, my very good friend Sarah Wingfield and I started this little organization back in December of '07. And Luke was actually a soldier that she met at Walter Reed. And he was heavily medicated and he was in bad shape. And his mother showed up and he could sense her presence in the room, and she observed how it changed his mood, his morale, everything for him. And that story, which you can find on our website at www.lukeswings.org, is really, you know, the catalyst for everything that we do today. And it's also why we named it Luke's Wings, after Luke and Sarah Wingfield. And so we've just, you know, been off and running ever since, you know, and I knew from day one that it was an important thing to do, and it would be some really great God's work. But I'll tell you, I got really invested in it when I started getting on the phone with the moms and the dads, and they started, you know, asking for the tickets and explaining the stories. And you know, some of these heroes, just what they went through is unbelievable, and they carry on. And you know, a lot of them, they just say, you know what, we just want to get back in action. We want to get back to the base where our buddies are and get back in it. And they make sacrifices like nobody else.
Very humbling.
So do you have any military service, or any military service in your family that made this cause so important to you?
Well, the closest I ever got to military service, Kate, was being a cadet at New Mexico Military Institute.
Okay.
And I'm very proud of that. You know, that time as a cadet. I wanted to go to Annapolis, but things changed for me. But in terms of my family, I do come from a long line of military guys. I have a distant ancestor who fought in the American Revolution back in like 1800, so we kind of started there, and a great uncle who was a general in World War II, and a grandfather and uncles and so forth. So.
And then you went to Penn State. Woo!
I did.
Go Nittany Lions.
That's right.
What I really like about Luke's Wings is the fact that it's a cause that everybody could actually pick up and participate in, whether it's from a volunteering role. And I see that you also have the ability to bring people in to help with this, because it actually is something that touches close to home. It's not just some obscure or something that's out of the norm for a particular person.
I'm glad you said that, Ebong. It's a great point. On our website at lukeswings.org, you can fill out an application, and you can definitely volunteer. The two things we want to do always is make sure people understand that we are financially responsible. We disclose all of our financials. We are being audited every year by an independent third-party auditor. We do everything we can to increase our pass-through ratio so that we can put as much of the donated dollar to the cause as possible, actually buying plane tickets. And the second thing, of course, is we want to get everyone involved. It's a great way for young people to volunteer, to do something meaningful, and also to gain some experience working for a small, you know, kind of startup company. So it's good for everybody, I think.
It is.
Well, if you watch this episode and you want to get involved, Fletcher's told you where you can go, www.lukeswings.org. And as always, don't forget to check us out, become our Facebook friend, follow us on Twitter, and watch us right here on www.thedistrictdish.com.